TV, like TV, etc., etc. We were focused very much on the media production and the distribution through independent channels, either radio or TV. And then we started to work in contemporary art, using artistic venues and exhibitions. And now, for instance, with this biennial we are working now, we are kind of using media platforms as media platforms. So we kind of a shift, I guess, from producing art to being ported into television to having production for television, using television as television, really. Which I guess it was a shift that it was natural because, for instance, in TV, this community TV in Copenhagen, we always wanted. We were one of the 13 different editorial groups, so we weren't alone. But in the meetings we had the idea was always to produce TV for TV. But in the end, I admit that somehow we just imported some sort of aesthetic idea approach, or artistic approach more than aesthetic, into TV, and it's something which is not new, of course. It was done since the 60s, and here in North America as well. And I don't really know if it works, and to me it doesn't. Somehow it implies an idea of democratization of the arts, which I don't know if it is interesting, really. So I would much prefer to focus on producing television for television and producing, taking radio as radio and newspaper as newspaper. Newspaper, for instance, has been used a lot of time to host some sort of artistic production, but maybe less used as in the form of a commission to someone who's not a journalist, a piece to be published in a newspaper, and let's see. It's a matter of, I guess, importing a different type of aesthetics, and it's not that artistic aesthetics is better than the mass media aesthetics. It's a different thing, but as soon as you import another sort of aesthetics, maybe it raises the awareness about the one used as a default. So that's I guess the idea of the audience is kind of shifted from media to art, and now we are in between, which is interesting. And in terms of distribution network, we use both, really. We don't work alone. We are collective because we usually don't work alone. We much prefer to collaborate in team, and that's obviously multiply the opportunity to distribute the work. So when we have the opportunity to commission something new, we rely on the artist network, of course, but also we use our previous networks coming from radio production or for TV production or for biennials like this one. So for instance, the new pieces we're producing for Manifesta, I think 90% of the works we produce are new works. We have this opportunity because we have an artistic budget, and all of them are newly produced production. And in terms of copyright, for instance, it's a huge complicated thing, but we negotiated actually that the copyright will transfer from the artist to Manifesta for the duration of the biennial, from Manifesta to the TV channel or to the radio channel or to the newspaper for the duration of Manifesta, and then the copyright goes back to the artist. And if they want to keep it, or they want to rebroadcast the work or reprint the work, they will have to deal with the artist directly. And that's another way of distributing the work, really, because you can put in touch directly some source with some distribution platforms. I don't know if I answer your question, but yes?
In the interest of making a careful distinction between documentary and truth, I'd like to point out that baldness is known to be the result of an excessive testosterone.
Thank you. I take it as a compliment. Yes. Sorry, I didn't hear.
I was wondering about your trailer, which shows the context in which that's usually used, and why the individual artists or the titles of the.
Yeah. Well, most of the work they have a political sort of.
No, but if you're in one scene we're in Gaza and another scene we're in Lebanon, and we don't know where we are, I just found that a little
Yeah.
disturbing. So I was
Yeah.
wondering what the reasoning behind it was.
There was very different position, of course. I mean, it wasn't just one liner, of course. I mean, it was partially by invitation, partially by submissions. So there was many different points of view on, for instance, on the Israeli-Palestinian cause. It was, was heavily actually debated, and with
a collective, or you're working together, it's a team, or how do you work together? You're in England, and
Yeah.
Khaled is now in Helsinki, I believe. So, what happens?
What happened?
How do you do it? What's going on?
Yes. I guess the origin of the collective was actually to be in one place, really, and that place was Copenhagen, back 5-6 years ago. And then, of course, kind of a life change and things change, and now we are working together because we realize project together. So that the work element is what binds us together, really. So we meet more or less every month or every month and a half, here or there, either in the UK or Copenhagen or in Spain for Manifesta or whatever. And we meet with the other components of Chambers as well, because it's just not myself and Khaled, there are other people working with us, and you have seen some of them in the credits of the videos, for instance. So I was talking about before about this collective as a floating signifier, and that's what I meant. I mean, it's even within the Manifesta Biennial, there are 3 collectives curating Manifesta, and 3 very different collectives, because we are started as a collective, and we are a collective through work, even in different geographical location, and we really put efforts to meet and to be together at certain points. The second is the ACAF from Alexandria, which is Alexandria Contemporary Art Forum, which is Bassam and his collaborator, but mainly it's him basically, and collaborate with different people every time. And the third one is Transit, which is a sort of a meta collective. It's made by 5 people, leading, basically running 4 different artistic spaces in 4 different countries: Austria, Hungary, Slovakia, and Czech Republic. So it's how do you call a collective that one? It's really they share the name, they share the funding, but there are 4 different mini institutions really. So it's a collective. Somehow it's what you want it to be to some point, and for us it's more a matter of working together really. I'm not really able to work by myself. I get bored very easily if I don't work with someone else, and it is a perfect sort of a strategy and a structure for me, and I think I can speak for the others as well. You're representing 16 Beaver, for instance. How do you work as a collective? Maybe we can leave the question for Saturday.
We can leave it for Saturday. I mean, it's